Views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect those of Vegas Allnet Radio, its affiliates, or its parent company.
I'm not George Takei, but I did see his play on Broadway, and I think it's wonderful. Hey, welcome to Voices in Vegas with Susan and my friend, George Takei. Oh, my goodness. I hope, I'm so happy to see you in 2016. This is going to be a great year. And I'm so excited that everybody that I saw when I was in New York is healthy and happy. And I hope that everybody else out there has the same kind of year going for them. Just a few things we're going to talk about today is when I was in New Jersey, I went to go see this play called Allegiance, written by George Takei, and with Mary Jo in the Know, who we will be talking to in a little bit. She's going to be giving us not only her review of the play, but also we're going to talk about David Bowie's play, Lazarus. I'm very sorry that David Bowie has passed away. I know that he's happier and healthier and probably not in any more pain, but what a lucky bunch of people we have been to have had him as one of the stars of our life. I remember when he first started, I think the first David Bowie song I heard, I must have been in junior high, and it was mind-blowing. And all of his artistic talents. He was such a well-rounded artist, so may he rest in peace. And beyond that, I hope everybody else has had a great New Year's. I certainly did. I went to New Jersey to visit Mary Jo in the Know, and we had the opportunity to go to Broadway and watch this show called Allegiance, written by George Takei. And it's a fabulous play. It's about the Japanese-American internment and the xenophobia that occurred during World War II. And the Japanese-Americans, who were Americans, who were stripped of their property and asked to leave everything behind and go to these horrible places. George Takei was actually interned in Arkansas and I think someplace else, Tule Lake, Montana. It really is a well-written, well-balanced play about the whole thing, on both sides of the issue, how they felt about it. The community, which I never knew, was very torn. And I'm shocked to say that I didn't know very much about it, even though I grew up on Redcliffe Street with these families who were, their whole communities were torn apart. They went to camp. And I remember when I was growing up, the older people would talk about camp. And as a child, I would think, oh, you know, like, well, I have some relatives back east who have a place called, they call it the camp, but it ain't no camp. It's like a 5-star resort, to tell you the truth. But this camp is actually the concentration camps. And I call them concentration camps because, you know, while they weren't exterminating people, they did ruin many, many lives. But the interesting thing, and what I really gained from seeing this play and recalling my own childhood and remembering Mickey and Johnny and the Nagais and the Kusanokis and the Hirotos, these were people that were just everyday people in my neighborhood. And we were like, we were the only white people. There were the Sedlaks, but, well, anyway, if you lived on Redcliffe Street, you knew who they were. But we had a great time. You know, we were watched when we were very little. We had the Obachans, the Japanese grandmothers. I had a baba. And it was just wonderful. We were always looked after. And even though we ran wild up and down Redcliffe Street, in and out of the vacant lots and, you know, playing wars with the other older kids on the other side of our back alley, we always felt very safe and very loved. And they were such resourceful people. They never spoke about this tragedy. And looking back, I I really found a lot of strength in that, because while their lives had been turned upside down, by the time I was born and lived on the same street, and playing with their grandchildren, there was none of this business of, let's bellyache. Let's talk about how horrible life was. Instead, they had a very positive, forward thinking about life, and that the term is called ganam, and there's a song that is beautifully sung by what is her name? Her name is Leah. I can't pronounce it, but she won the Tony for Miss Saigon years and years ago. But still, oh, such a wonderful singer. Let me see if I can find her name. Leah Salonga. She was wonderful, and she sings a song about Ganam, and Ganam means, yes, this is terrible, but we're going to move on. They go into how these Japanese Americans found these horrible places, and how they were so resourceful that even though it wasn't fancy, they still remembered the quality, to always have a quality of life, no matter where you are. And for that, I really am very lucky that I think that that is something that I've always carried on with in my life. There is a lot of negativity in the world, and, what are you going to do about that? But you don't need to feed it, because the more you feed the negativity and the negative people in your life, the more that you give power to them. So Ganam means a lot to me personally, because there are so many things that have happened in my life that, could really get me down, but I choose not to. And by the way, whenever I do think that my life is, really getting down and a bummer, I always remember who are my parents, and then I straighten my crown and sit a little bit taller on my throne. Anyway, it stars Leah Salonga, George Takei, Telly Leung, Katie Rose Clark, who plays Nurse Hannah, Michael Lee, Christopher Nomura, and Greg Watanabe. Everyone in this play was just such a powerful, powerful character. And the singing was fantastic, the dancing, the staging, and of course the audience. The audience in New York is like no other. I find that just as interesting as going to these plays, because there's no way that you can fake it on Broadway. It's live. And if you do screw up, you better know how to dance your way out of it or sing your way out of it. But every one of these performers were right on the money. So interestingly enough, I didn't realize that there was, a group of people who really resisted this. Obviously, they didn't live in my neighborhood, because many of the men in my, the fathers and the grandfathers in my neighborhood, they actually served in I think it's the 446, who were a group of Japanese Americans whose families, they had been interned in these concentration camps. And then the American government comes to them and says, would you like to, fight for this country that's basically screwing you and your family? And yet because they were Americans, they said, yeah, I'll go fight. So they went to fight there were 800 of them, and they were the 446. I better make sure I know that right. And they went to go fight in Italy. They were the most, out of 800, only 200 came back. So they suffered the most casualties of any squad or group in the U.S. Army, and were awarded the most bronze medals and silver medals and Purple Hearts of any other unit ever in history. And it's interesting, one of the men that I grew up with was a friend of my father of my friend Diane and David Hiroto. They lived across the street, and I never realized that, because he was such a humble and just unassuming. He never made a big deal about it. And I remember the fathers would say to each other, go for broke. And I always thought that that was kind of an interesting thing to say, but I sort of felt like, well, maybe it's their inside, story or, their own secret code. But in actuality, it was really their way of, their secret handshake. Anyway, I want to now bring on Mary Jo in the know, our East Coast correspondent. Hello, Mary Jo, are you there?
Come on.
Oh, how are you, girlfriend?
Hi, I'm great. How are you, Susan?
Oh, I'm doing great. Now you can't see this, but you're gonna get you're gonna know what I'm doing. Oh my!
Oh my.
I have George Takai today. George Takai and I are here. So let me tell. Now you went to the play, and you're an East Coaster. Did you know anything about this occurrence in history before this play?
I actually did not, and I knew it from history books, but I didn't really have the depth of knowledge prior to seeing the play. And George Takai, to me, was Mr. Sulu.
Yes.
And there was only really, he was the Star Trek helmsman, I guess. And
Live long and prosper.
Right. But he did a great job, I believe, in taking the serious aspect of allegiance to the Broadway stage.
Yes. And it was very well written.
The creators did a great job. They deserve the credit for shedding light on such a dark chapter of American history. I was listening to you while I was on hold, and I guess pretty much George Takai, who has done almost everything except Broadway up until this point in his professional career, he did a great job collaborating with the creators to bring this personal experience through the eyes of the fictional family, the Kurumus.
I don't even remember that name. Oh yeah, Sam Kimura.
Right? Sam
Kimura.
was Kimura, Kimuras.
Kimura.
Yeah. But what I loved about the play was it began in 2001, and then through the flashbacks is how the story unfolded, just before and after the attack of Pearl Harbor. The set was pretty stark, but I think that was fitting for the seriousness of the story that he was trying to tell.
Yes.
And the period close helped situate the story into that exact time and location. What do you think? What do you think, Susan?
Absolutely. The costuming was right on. Even the authenticity of the uniforms that they wore, and the just the hair, the makeup. It really brought you back. You fell into this play, and and
The jitterbug. That was kind of a juxtaposition of emotions as well.
but
I think my favorite was Gaman, the song that they sang, and that referred to the Japanese expression for holding one's head high, which the Japanese are known for.
Right. And to move on.
So,
to always look to the future.
yes, and for the people who were imprisoned, I believe that was the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved the contrast between young Sam and his sister Key, the Tony Award winner for Miss Saigon, Leah Salonga. Is she on the show today?
Yeah, but I just have George on with me right now.
Okay.
Because, you
Yeah,
know
she's
what? When we got out and they were giving out, I missed, what can I say? I was too busy ready to go get my pizza
Right.
and go hang out on the 40th floor of the DoubleTree looking down on Times Square.
And I was too freezing because I was in a little teeny jacket, and some people were thinking mink. So, what can I say?
I also have to take this moment and say, I would never wear mink for vanity. But when you live in a very cold climate, let's say New York City or Finland, there's an advantage to wearing a mink coat because that is not only very lightweight as you're trying to trudge through the piles of snow, but also I kept petting it. It was just so soft and so warm as we were trudging.
You were petting it, yes.
And it's a really nice thing to wear as you're running through Times Square at 2 a.m. I'm just saying.
Just saying. But we did have a great experience in terms of being hosted opposite of the suite where Carol Channing was in residence during Hello, Dolly. That was a treat on the 40th floor.
Oh, thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Our BFF.
That was very interesting, and especially when we were up, looking down at Times Square, I couldn't imagine people who really are brave to do the New Year's Eve in Times Square.
But New Year's Eve in Times Square this year was warm. By the time we got there 2 days later, it was freezing.
Yeah.
And I heard it. You saw a few snow flurries recently.
We are just getting our first clipper, which is not a serious, not a nor'easter, nothing as serious as that, but we have a cold front coming down from Canada mixed with the warm air that we've been experiencing here in New Jersey. And so we're getting
thunderstorms.
Yeah, we're getting some snow, not expected to stick, just to make the gray and the brown grass go away for a little while.
Yeah, it's no fun looking at brown grass.
Not really.
So, the other thing was that another thing that I really enjoyed about the play was that it brings you to the present. It's a flashback, but it winds up in the present, and how sometimes things that you think you just can't get over, that love really does conquer all. What do you think?
I think so, and especially at the end or towards the end of the play when George Takei, who played the grandfather, he was folding the paper lotus that was pinned behind her ear, the daughter's ear, or the granddaughter's ear.
Oh,
it was
yes.
so beautiful.
Yes.
And his words were, "You're a woman who wears a political statement in her hair." And it was very symbolic because that's what she was doing, contrasted with her brother, the young Sam, who wanted to join the army and fight for the country.
Yes, and it was easy to understand both sides of the issue.
Yes.
But at the same time, a hard decision, and how while we think that this is just going to kill us, it sometimes makes us stronger.
It was really, I enjoyed the evening and the play. Sorry to hear that it is closing early, but hopefully it will go on national tour and receive the recognition on the West Coast, where I think more people would be able to relate. It's more relatable, I believe, on the West Coast than on the East Coast.
Yeah. And, for the New York audience, the Broadway play going audience,
like Mary Jo in the Know.
Yeah, exactly. Like Mary Jo in the Know. I was surprised by how many people had no idea, or they weren't aware that this happened, or they never met anybody, who had been through this.
That's
And,
true.
I was mentioning to one of our friends that we went with, how would you like it if all of a sudden, the government says to you, all people whose last name is the letter P and wears glasses, you now have to leave, and we're going to take you to a camp, and your house, well, you have to sell it for pennies on the dollar, and
So embarrassing,
your
right?
business that you've worked hard to earn, um, you know, where you're going to sell that on pennies on the dollar. And then the biggest insult is after the war, what they did was they gave him a bus ticket and $25. And a lot of these people, a lot of the families, they had to live on Skid Row until they could, find work. And there was a lot of discrimination. I remember hearing a story about a family, and I know this personally because my Mickey and Johnny, who were the grandparents on the street, so to speak, they were interned somewhere in Idaho, and they took a bus to Denver because they knew that they had some relatives there, and they went into the Brown Palace, and they were very dressed up. They had suits on, and they looked very nice, and they wouldn't let them in the hotel because they were Japanese.
That's shameful behavior.
It's sinful. So, and the interesting thing about these Japanese Americans who were not immigrants, these were Americans with American citizenship, and they weren't out bombing and killing Americans.
No.
Unlike the, Allah Akbar people who are killing police officers and blowing up buildings. These were patriotic Americans. And I remember them saying, Mickey and Johnny said, we went because we wanted to show the government that we were loyal to them. And they felt that if they fought it would show that they weren't, they had no allegiance, and hence the title, I guess.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. But, for those who overcome their tragedies, there is a reward. I do believe.
Well, I think that resonates true with most people who go through these personal difficulties. It makes them stronger.
Oh, it sure does. And there's a lot of people who don't want to go through the difficulties and like to avoid all that stuff, and nothing ventured, nothing gained. My parents always used to say, anything worth having doesn't come easy. So, sometimes, sucking it up and, just putting your shoulder to the wind and just moving forward one step at a time has a lot to be said for that.
That's true. So there are a bunch of new shows that will be coming out in previews during the month of February. So I am doing my research to see which show I will.
What we're going to see next.
Be looking for next to attend and review for Voices in Vegas with Susan Feldman.
Thank you. We look forward to that.
You're welcome.
We have Julie Martini on the line, and so
my.
Oh my! So she's one of the Tres Amigas, AOPIs. So it was great talking to you, and thank you so much for giving us your review. We appreciate it, and to our audience, please, if you have a choice of, I know you have a choice of shows to see. Hamilton is about $500 a ticket, which is why we didn't see it. But hopefully one day the price will come down because that is the hot ticket. And then there's a whole bunch of new ones coming out. One is called Waitress. And then there was another one with Jeff Daniels and Michelle Williams. I don't remember what the name of that one was, but that's another one we're going to keep our eyes on.
Definitely. And let me just say, plug Waitress. It stars Jessie Mueller, who won the Tony Award last season for her role as Carole King in the Broadway musical Beautiful. So that may be something that I will focus on and spear in on.
Hey, when are the Tony Awards?
They're usually held in the first week of of June.
Okay.
So that's why you have all of these, the last rush from February until May to get in, so they'll be considered for the Tony Awards. So we'll have to do a huge special, and do something like that in April, May timeframe.
All right. Well, listen, I'm going to let you go.
All right, girlfriend. Okay.
All
Have a
righty.
great day.
All righty. Namaste. Ohayo gozaimasu. Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. Bye-bye.
And I'd like to welcome our guest. Who are you, by the way?
Ralph Nader.
Ralph Nader. Thank you very much for giving us those safety belts.
That's right. Unsafe at any speed. That's me.
Well, you might be the fourth of our Tres Amigas here. We are unsafe at any speed. And speaking
I've heard that, yes.
And speaking of Tres Amigas, my favorite cocktail, Julie Martini, our West Coast correspondent, is now on the line.
I've never had a Julie Martini.
Oh, man.
I'll have to try it sometime.
It's quite a kick. It's quite a kick.
Okay.
It looks innocent and sweet, but boy, that after kick, boy, that's what'll get you. Hey, Julie.
Hi, Susan. How are you doing?
I'm doing great now that I'm talking to you.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, my dear. And I'm calling from lovely Southern California, a crisp but gorgeous sunny day. And so we have time for a moment with Martini.
Moment with Martini. Well, let me make sure it's 3 olives. And I really do love those dirty martinis. So tell me what's up with the...
I like dirty martinis.
Yeah, we call them the Julie.
Okay, that's what I thought, yeah.
It's
we were
the
talking
only way
before
I
the
order.
show.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's the only way she orders. So what's up, Julie?
Well, I'm just very excited about the lottery this week, and I know from taking a few notes yesterday, it's 1 in 290 million chances that I might be the winner.
We all might be the winner.
And that probably has gone up since yesterday, but nonetheless, I still have to play.
Oh, yes. We do have to play. We can't, because, we need that airplane. We need that jet.
Well, the Gulfstream's waiting for us with
Thank
the Gucci
you.
accents and the crew wearing the Jean-Paul Gaultier uniforms.
Yeah, there you go. Julie graduated from USC School of Business, so she's my my business advisor.
Gotcha.
And also life stylist, as you can see. Heaven forbid the stewards should serve us in anything less than a Jean-Paul Gaultier uniform. So listen, how are you picking the numbers?
Well, I'm definitely using my mom's age. She's 88, and
God bless
I think
her.
we all know what the
Florita.
number 8 means in the Chinese realm of things. It's the money number.
Yes.
And I really feel, and that's why I'm calling in to check if this could be my lucky day.
Well, I do think that it is. When you and I get together, it's very interesting how things happen. We just can't. It's a chemistry. So I think that this is a very, very good numbers. I wanted to give you some other
You mean
numbers.
like scotch and soda?
Scotch and soda, yeah, olives and martinis, yeah. I want you to also consider the numbers 702, 485, 4444.
44.
Interesting. Okay.
702-483-4444. Is that what I said?
Okay, 4444.
I'm a little dyslexic here. It's been a while since I've been on the radio.
And we missed you.
So what's your favorite number?
I don't know. I'm feeling really strong 26.
How old are you, John?
I'm not at liberty to discuss that at the moment.
Okay, well, how old would you like to be?
I'm 68.
That's a good number.
And this year I'll be the magical number. So
Very good.
Yeah.
Yes, we all have years where, we have peaks and valleys.
That's right.
So
and just as far as the lottery goes,
yes.
My understanding is that 67% of lottery winners have been quick picks.
Oh, hey. That's something good to know.
Yes, it is.
Do you know what a quick pick is, Julie?
Well, I do, but I don't know. I just feel very strongly about having my own numbers, and it's
And how
something
many times have you won, Julie?
Hey, Julie is such a winner. She doesn't even play the lottery. She's she's quite the businesswoman.
I understand.
Yeah, so, when we do get this, when we do win this lottery, we've got plans. And it's nice to have somebody who understands, because sometimes people win the lottery and their whole lives are screwed up. And a lot of it, money changes people.
Yes, it does.
And, we're all
I would like an opportunity to experience that change. I would like an opportunity to prove that it wouldn't change me. How's that?
And I just want you to know I've been clearing out the garage to make room for that little yellow Ferrari. I need to pay homage to my countrymen. And it's very important that I fit that car nicely in the garage.
Well, that's true. That's true.
I have a chauffeur's license.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If I had all that money, I wouldn't buy a sports car. I would buy like a really nice black Cadillac and have a driver.
Nope.
I don't want anyone to know who I am.
Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud.
Okay. Oh, but that draws too much attention.
Yeah.
No. I don't want people looking at me. I want to be able to have, the less people know about what I'm doing, the more I can accomplish.
Well, that's true.
That's true.
That's true.
Because
don't worry, the Ferrari has very nice dark tinted windows.
Well, that'll be very convenient for
when you park.
That's what I was saying. And Dana Point has some beautiful spots.
I love
know.
Dana Point.
That's where Julie lives.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
God, I used to go down to the harbor all the time.
Oh,
Everybody goes down there with their animals. I used to have a parrot that I took down there with me all the time.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
big
wow.
military macaw.
A military macaw.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, that was cool. I love that place down there.
Oh, Mary Jo has a good friend. His name is Mean Gene. What's Mean Gene's real name?
Gene Zimmerman.
Gene Zimmerman. He's a very accomplished sailor.
Cool.
Yeah, and Julie's into sailors in the Navy.
Now, it would be more like yachtsman.
Oh,
There you
I
go.
see.
There
There
you
you
go.
go.
I
know,
tried
what
to
was
join the Navy, but they found out my parents were married.
Oh my goodness, that's
That's a Marine Corps joke.
that sounds like a Marine Corps joke. At SC, we used to say, I almost went to UCLA, and then my dad got a job.
Yeah.
So tell me, how was your New Year's?
Oh, it was excellent. I was down in Laguna Beach at some dear friends, and we had, of course, wonderful food, wonderful wine, and amazing champagne come the strike of midnight. And yeah, it was really fun.
Great.
Really nice.
Julie has a great bunch of friends down there in
Cool.
Dana Point. So I know that this group has, they always, when they get together, they know how to do it right.
Party.
So what are your plans for 2016 besides winning the lottery? Did you go to Founders Day, by the way?
Well, I don't know if our Founders Day has occurred just yet, but I've been very focused on preparing for an upcoming interview, hopefully the last of 4. So I've been very focused on that, and my son just graduated last month from Penn State and got his business degree like his mama.
Oh, good boy. And where? Tell us where he got a job.
Well, he just got employed as of last week, and he starts day after tomorrow with the LA Clippers.
Woo! When you are raised by an AOPI, failure is not a word in the vocabulary. Would you agree?
Oh, there's no word in our book and in the dictionary of AOPI that failure just doesn't exist.
No, there's no such thing. We go for broke, to coin a phrase.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, I've heard it before. Oh my.
Oh, my.
Oh my.
So I'll tell you a cute little thing. So this is going to be Grant's first real job in the real world, and he'll be selling the luxury boxes. So maybe a few AOPI sisters and I will be able to test one out, kind of some big game or perhaps a wonderful show at Staples. That's where his office is going to be. But the poor darling, this is literally his last day to work out in the middle of the day at his favorite gym.
Well, sometimes you gotta what you gotta do.
Welcome to phase 2 of life.
Welcome to adulthood, darling.
Well, and he was lamenting. He says, "I may not be big anymore because he's into bodybuilding and he's got huge muscles, and it's a very handsome young man."
Yes, he
but
is.
I told him, I said, "Well, 5'2" and 122 pounds, you'll always be big to me, honey."
Well, yes, that's true. I mean, you're about as big as a minute, but physically, but your reputation precedes you.
Well, I'll take him down, whatever size. I don't really care.
Well, that's your job as a mother, isn't it?
Well, in many things, I end up having to do that, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about what other things you plan on doing. What's going on in Southern California as far as, tell me about the library. Somebody keeps talking about the library. What is the library in Orange County?
That's a bar
really
over on Orangewood and Catella.
John here is telling me that it's a bar.
Over on Catella.
You ever been there?
Well, see, you guys, there you have me. I've been so focused work-wise and family-wise, I have not had any time to really go out and go crazy. So
good recovery.
You could probably tell me a lot more.
So where was the place we were going to go when we were down there? It's a really big, interesting place. I want to go to it eventually. It's the museum?
Getty?
No. The new Broad Museum that opened up in Los Angeles, it does not charge admission. It has some amazing exhibits, all from the Broad collection.
Now, what's the Broad collection?
I may say it wrong, but I think it's Eli Broad and his wife that had their own personal collection, and they had collected so many amazing pieces throughout their years as a couple that they had so much. They wanted to open it up, and so they built a beautiful museum in downtown Los Angeles, not too far from the Disney Center and the Music Center and all that good stuff, and it's now open to the public. And I've heard that it's just amazing, and I've waited for a while just to go in, so I'm not, with the masses, but it's supposed to be quite unbelievable in terms of museum quality experience. So
now,
I'm hoping to go soon.
What kind of things did they collect? Art, sculpture, cars?
They collected mostly art pieces, fine art, sculptures, but I would say most of it's going to be more towards contemporary. That's where he found, and his wife found, amazing, young up-and-coming artists. And they collected, and so I think they collected really before any of these people were known, and they have quite an extensive collection.
Well, that's the way to go. To buy these, to support these artists before they become not overpriced. I won't say overpriced, but prices that we, as normal, regular, pre-lottery winners, can afford.
Well, and also the fact that artists, a lot of them are literally starving. So these people need the support of patrons like the Broads and others that see, the vision that these artists have and appreciate their point of view and their style of art and want to help support them. So I think a lot of it had to do with just their philanthropic type of attitudes and practices, and they just extended it into the art world.
Who are these people? I've never heard of them before. The Broads?
I know them.
Broad.
Oh, Broad.
You'll have to
I used
Google
to
them,
date one of them.
No, they're very well known.
How is it
very
spelled?
Wealthy, and obviously sharing quite a bit back with everyone by offering an opportunity to see amazing art without ever having to pay for it.
Yeah, that is amazing. That is so. It has an endowment that.
I was going to say, how is it financed? Who is it? The family that has?
I guess the Broads.
Yeah, the Broads did it.
I think they pretty
they
much
stand out on the corner on the weekends and.
Okay, go on.
Or they've also probably have corporate sponsors as well to help with it, But
because that's an
definitely
expensive.
would like to check it out, and then I can report back.
Fabulous. We look forward to hearing from you.
Send
It
pictures.
was a martini moment from the Eli Broad New Museum in downtown Los Angeles.
That's right. That's right. Well, it was great talking to you. And when are you going to go? I've heard that the lines for the lottery are around the block. So have you already gotten, because tomorrow is the
next drawing.
The next drawing is tomorrow.
I I know, and thanks for bringing that up, because as soon as I'm done with my next meeting, I plan to find somewhere to buy these tickets. So I'm just working on my numbers and wanted to know if you had any others that you felt were real strong.
29.
And I'm going to be playing them.
Yeah, John says 29.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll work on that, and keep your fingers crossed.
Definitely, because the Gulf Stream is awaiting.
Well, yeah, and not only that, but after flying, I have to say that my flight to New York and back was quite nice. Thank you, Michael Feldman. First class is really the way to go. You can tell. I didn't know if he was just being nice to me or he's happy to see me leave. But the nice thing about flying
first class leaving and coach coming back.
Yeah. No. But it is nice to have that room and that space, and it was comfortable because when you fly that way, the vacation starts the minute you get on the plane.
Oh yeah.
So I would never pay those prices though, but with the extra miles, it's quite nice.
I flew direct from here to London. And that's a 10-hour flight, and it was one of the planes where they have the upstairs.
Oh yeah, the 747s.
Yeah, that was really cool because I got to sit right next to the stairway. So I had plenty of room. It was easy to get on, easy to get off. I was like the third person off the plane. It was like...
Oh, that's the best.
But 10 hours is still too long to spend on an airplane.
And, it's amazing to me how the traveling public, they're kind of retarded.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, it's amazing to me. When I pack...
To say the least.
When I pack, I check a bag.
Yeah.
Because, well, first of all, first class, it's first.
Yep.
It's free. But the thing is, though, that I don't want to schlep all that stuff in case of an emergency. And it was kind of distressing, I guess, to see, especially when you're going through TSA. It's like these people are caught in headlights.
Right. They want everything on a carry-on.
Well, and not only that, but, it's like they get to TSA and it's like, oh, my God, I'm at the airport.
Yeah.
Oh, you want my ID? There's none of this thinking ahead. People have metal all over themselves. I thought I was going to miss my flight.
I once flew from here to, and this was after 9/11, from here to Orlando with a young lady who had a blouse that had all of these metal things all down the backs and down the front. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell are you wearing that for?
Oh, my gosh. And then, people also bring, there was one woman who sat on the other side of the aisle, and she had bags from Kohl's. Now, I'm thinking we're going to New Jersey. They don't have Kohl's in New Jersey? You've never heard of UPS?
Yeah.
I mean, why would you schlep that stuff? And then not only that, but I just had one purse, okay? And I had everything that I needed in there, my book, my ID, and my wallet. That's it.
The only thing I take on the plane with me are my cameras.
Oh,
because I don't trust. I don't trust them.
No.
So I want them with me.
But the thing is, though, that you pack according that when you go through TSA, it's not a big issue. I want to get
you
in
wear
and
slip-on
out.
shoes.
Slip-on shoes.
Right. You take your watch, your glasses, everything. You put them in a little bag, throw them in the bin. Bang, you're done.
Absolutely.
No. Let me tell you how the real
Oh, no, now Julie really does know how to fly.
At the TSA office, you bring all your ID, your birth certificate, whatever they want, and you pay $50. It's good for 7 years, and you don't even have to go through the normal line.
Wait, back this up. Tell me, I want to put this on my website.
They got the idea from Disney.
Oh, did they? How did they get that idea from Disney?
From the line pass. You can go buy the line pass.
Oh, yeah.
And TSA has the same thing. It's 7 years, right?
What is it called?
6 years, 7 years?
It's called a TSA regress, and just look it up online. You'll have a location near where you live. You have to obviously go there in person, prove who you say you are, show them a couple different forms of ID, and then anytime you travel on any airline anywhere in the world, at least originally for sure from the United States, but it will come up where you have the TSA pre-select, and you'll have a check mark, which means you never have to go in the general boarding line again.
But you can't be wearing a turban.
Oh, no burqas?
No.
No burqas? And no yelling Allah Akbar?
On your derriere. That can set things off. But just, be prudent about your choice of clothing.
And no packing. You got to leave your AK-47s at home.
The toys have to stay at home.
Yeah. Hey, I think that when I went and got my
passport?
My Nevada driver's license.
Right.
I remember that I had to bring my birth certificate.
Yes.
And proof of my residency,
Yes.
like a gas bill or something like that?
Right.
Is that the
when
same
you came
thing?
from another state?
No, just recently.
When you renewed your license?
When I renewed my license. I wonder if
Really?
that's... Oh, I'm going to have to look this up online, because not only that, but
That's
going
crazy.
there was these people who, like, they'd never seen, it looked like they'd gone shopping. Well, they had gone shopping here. What am I going to say? And what am I kidding myself? But, and as I'm getting on the airplane, the first thing I'm doing is I'm looking around thinking about, okay, who am I going to be stepping on as I'm trying to get out of this airplane? And that's a terrible thing to say, but, there's some people who are just like not at all aware. And also, I'm not going to say anything about the handicapped, but, there was one woman who couldn't even stand up from her wheelchair to get in her first class seat. And I'm thinking, why doesn't she just hire an air ambulance?
Yeah.
Because no, but seriously,
Probably cheaper.
Because if you cannot physically take care of yourself, it's sort of like the weakest link in a chain.
Yep.
And I would hate to have anybody lose their life because there was somebody who basically couldn't assist. I mean, we're a team when we're on that plane. And it just amazes me how many people are just not with it. Then on the way back, it was full of, I had to stop in Chicago.
Oh,
and oh my God.
Coming to Vegas? Yeah.
Oh, it was the Big Bang Theory. These guys, they were all going to the CES.
Yep.
And we have a dear friend named Michael Miller who went to prep school with my husband, who we see every time he comes out.
And you know
here.
what they talk about, the people who come to CES?
Yes.
They have one shirt and a $20 bill, and they never change either one all
No.
the time they're here.
No, you're right. But they all reminded me of Sheldon Cooper's.
Yeah.
And, they were brilliant, genius people, but when it came to social skills, they too were kind of problems
Yes.
on the plane, because these, and you see this a lot with geniuses. They're autistic in a sense that it's difficult for them to think of anybody else but themselves, which is why they're geniuses.
Yes.
Because they're so focused. But on the other hand, you need, it would be nice for them to understand that it's, manners. I'm an old broad. Can you let me go first or help me? They kind of look at me as I'm like struggling, and I'm thinking, dude, let me have your mother's phone number, because I plan on calling her up and asking her what the hell she did to raise this, or did she raise this kid?
Susan, this is not the South, and that's one thing my daughter commented as soon as she got off at LAX from Georgia. She says, I'm going to miss the kindness, the gentleman qualities, and just the overall civility
Yes,
of the South.
civility. And I see this, I mean, I'm a nurse.
Right.
By the way, I'm looking for a job, so if anyone's got any leads on an experienced labor and delivery nurse, I also freelance. So if you're going to have a baby and you would like a little bit of extra TLC, you can have me. But just give me a call. You can reach me on my website.
702-483-4444. If you're about to have a baby,
yeah, and I'm really
please
good.
call us.
And I also involve Reiki, so that's true. But the civility would be so wonderful. But it's very interesting, just the traveling public. I would really love to see people having like some sort of, like, you have to have, you get special privileges if you go to like a training session, or, just how to prepare to fly on an airline. And I just can't even imagine what it would be like to be a stewardess, because everyone feels, I mean, it's like being a nurse, but at least at the hospital,
Right.
I have security.
yeah.
And when you're a stewardess, what are you going to do? Get some, big guys in the back to tackle someone who's got a smarty mouth?
Yeah.
And you know me, I have no shame. I tell it right
I've
to
noticed that, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm thinking this is my life. I'm getting on an airplane.
Yep.
I plan on, everyone pay attention, because I plan on surviving whatever happens. I'm just, something must have happened to me in another life where I'm just like totally, I have
You
an
might
older
have been
brother.
you might have been on the Titanic.
No, I have an older brother and a younger sister.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I'm just glad no one got on our way when we were going down to Loretto together, because they would have had problems.
Oh, man. Loretto. And everybody, do not go to Loretto, Mexico, okay? because if you do, everyone's going to go and ruin it. That is one of the most beautiful places in Baja, California.
And I will not be telling you where I will be going on February 25th.
All right. But I think it starts with an L. Is it Loretta?
I'd rather not say.
And don't forget to say hola to our amigo, Daniel.
Estoy disfrutando, sí.
Oh, qué bueno, qué bueno.
Sí,
Yo no hablo
bien.
español, yo gabacho.
Oh, muy bien. Juan over here.
Juan. Yes.
Mi amiga,
Sí,
mi
sí,
amigo.
mi amor.
Amigo.
Amiga is an old computer system. And I think it's actually an insurance company too now, isn't it? Or an investment company or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, who knows? Anyway, listen, Julie, I want to thank you for calling in and keeping us updated on what's going on in the West Coast.
This has been a martini moment, and to be continued.
Thank you very much. Hasta
You're
luego.
welcome.
Well, thank you so much
You
for
have some
coming.
weird friends, you know that,
Oh,
right?
man. We're all Ale Pies.
Yeah.
And I call us...
What the hell is that?
Well, we're American geishas.
Oh,
I call
see.
them we're American geishas because just like geishas
Because
in
they bind
Japan,
up your feet when you're just a little
well,
kid?
no, but
Oh.
we
Because you have a pillow on your back?
no, but
Sorry.
it keeps our head from hitting the ground.
Sorry.
But we are rather well educated,
Okay.
well informed. We can have conversations with pretty much anybody.
Okay.
We bring the party.
Gotcha.
But we aren't disgusting. We
Good.
know
Okay.
how to have enough fun where you can walk
But
away
there
without.
is a line that you don't want to cross.
Well, yeah, exactly. Just
right.
like the
Yep.
geishas in Japan, and they're business women.
Yep.
They know how to work it,
Yeah,
and
they do.
they understand how important it is to make life beautiful and gracious, and really
And they
set
do
the
it quite
example.
well.
They do it very well. I love going to Kyoto, just watching. Sitting in a park and watching the geishas go by. Oh, like moving works of art.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because then they have these huge Gucci purses because they spent a boatload of money
Yeah.
on that purse. And then they have this beautiful, it's kind of odd, but in a way it's, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
So I guess that does it for our show today.
You survived another show.
Oh, John,
Good
and you know
job.
what? Thank you so much for being
No
here
problem.
with
Hey,
us.
I got to make one quick comment here. I was looking at the ticket that you got for the Allegiance.
Yes.
$76.50 for a Broadway play.
Yeah, and we
That is
bought
phenomenal.
And we bought that.
Shit, you can't get in anywhere here in Vegas for that kind of price.
But let me tell you, this is a live performance.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no fake in it. A movie, they do takes over
Right.
and over and over.
Right.
But, to really
do
hear.
that every single night.
And not only that, but we bought this. Our friend Scott stood in will call the day
Right.
of the show.
Oh, wow.
And the show that we really wanted to go see was Hamilton. But like I said, that's $500 a ticket. And
Yeah.
that's for the lousiest seat. But, when you have a play like that, it's really a wonderful experience to go and see live the best of American theater.
Right. There's
Because-
almost nothing like that in Vegas anymore.
Oh, no. Oh,
There's a
that's,
few.
yeah.
Rock of Ages is one of the few where all the music is live, all the singing is live, and that's about the only one that I know that doesn't
And
have a
just-
bunch of canned music and all that crap.
Yeah, and also to see George Takei.
Yeah.
I mean, where else can you see George Takei except on
Except
Star Wars?
reruns of Star Trek. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you, George. I really just... Oh, my. And thank you, John, for
My
being
pleasure.
here.
Yeah,
And
glad I
thank
could help.
you for working the boards. And we will see you next week. Namaste.